running. And as everybody knows, John is hunting Nazi gold, so we won't see John. Thank God.
We won't see him for a long time. We've got
we
at
won't
least
see John until
John.
February. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, but it's good that we have our guest. We have Rob Vega, if you will, from whatchamacallit, Vaguely News or Vaguely True.
Yeah.
Depending on the mood that we go with. And there you have it.
Okay, man, that's
promo now.
Yeah. All right. So here's what we're gonna do, boys and girls. We're gonna actually start the show.
This is True OF Entertainment.
Welcome to the Lost Dollar Business Club, where we talk about business, and not just business. We talk about what makes businesses go up and what makes businesses go down. If you're interested in businesses, this is where it is. We talk about the global economy. We talk about global politics. We talk about everything and anything business related that affects your life on a global scale as well as a local scale. And don't miss after the show, Lost and Found. All right. Look at this group.
Motley crew.
So before we start, this is the last show of the Lost Dollar Business Club for 2024. Michael's old. He needs a week off because he's just decrepit. So here next week, which is because of the pagan holiday. I think it's called Kill the Gentiles. Roll is here, better known as Rob Vega from Vaguely True or Vaguely News, that you can see on our station. And he and I are going to do a year-end show that we're going to put out next week. So you can see that, and then he'll take a week off because he's old too. And there's David. And as all of you know, thank you, love you too. I'm number one in your book. And John, for you that love John, I don't think anybody really does. He's hunting Nazi gold in Argentina. But John knows I love him like the sister that I ran over with a car. So there you go. So today, kids, we're going to talk about Donald Trump, because why not? Talk about the debt ceiling in America. We're going to talk about the debt globally, and are we heading to 2008? And before we start, I just want to read something that was in the Financial Times this morning. This is what we're going to start with. A fiscal fight is brewing in the court of Donald Trump. America debt pile of cash, tax cuts, and flashpoints inside the new administration. And it goes to talk about this week, Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House of Representatives, tried to pass a stopgap debt ceiling deal for $6.75 trillion, which I have lying around. They could have just called me. But it was derailed by the incoming president, a.k.a. King, a.k.a. dictator, Orange Man Donald Trump, and his herring-daring Elon Musk and the other guy, Ranzi Muzi, Smagi, whatever his name is. Musk said this bill should not pass. On X, ditching negotiations with threats. And the other thing which I thought was interesting.
This one didn't pass either.
This is that we're talking about today. The fiscal policy is an early flashpoint of the fight, particularly given this week's jump in bond yields following the Fed's downgrade of its projected interest rates and cuts of 2025. So my whole problem with this is that I don't really care what Elon Musk has to say. Mr. Trump can weigh in. He is actually the president. And this ties to the other part of the show, is that debt and stupid bonds and stupid things that Wall Street does, thank you very much, is at an all-time high. We are making bonds for chicken wings, record deals, this and that. So we are higher than 2007 debt and crazy structure deals than we were in 2008. So now the question is, boys and girls, what's going to happen?
What's going to happen is we're going to run that commercial.
Get the freedom and the flexibility of remote work in the lucrative tech industry. Bend your life around the world. Bandicoot is the premier course and community for thriving in a remote tech career. Join the revolution today. Bandicoot.com, official partner of the Lost Dollar Business Club. Bandicoot also promotes space travel, just to be clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bandicoot will be. If you take SpaceX to Mars, you can take a Bandicoot.
There you go.
So there you go.
I think you should. I think as an American, you should be investing in hand carts, because you look like you're going to need quite a few of them, because you'll be going to hell on a hand cart.
On a hand cart?
Yeah.
Is that on the bond market maybe, or can we?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some sort of crypto mint that's called.
No, that's a good point. Everything has been financialized. Everything has been financialized to the extent that now,
including this show.
Including this show. That's right. Yeah, but I mean, you make a good point. Is that they're issuing debt for any number of ridiculous so-called asset classes, right. And that's just one indicator. You've also got the real estate, the commercial real estate indicators, right. And then the inverted yields of treasuries versus 3-month T-bills, right?
Right. So my point though, but nobody the old adage, history repeats itself. Right. And then we always joke, even on Vaguely True, we talk about this. People don't know history. So, and 2008, as far as I know, isn't that far ago. Like literally, it is like 15, 16 years ago, we were in 2008. Yeah. And if you can't remember what caused the issues, I know, well, and thank God that you can remember that, because you don't remember other things. My point is that, but because of that, the issue we have right now is that we've got guys on Wall Street, bonus. And when it implodes this time, because we were in a global depression in 2008. Let's stop with the recession crap. The numbers than they were in 30 and 29, right? We were in a global depression. So stop with the bullshit. The next thing, who's going to save us on this global depression? I mean, Trump doesn't like anybody. So if JP Morgan goes, we don't have any money, is Trump going to be too big to fail, or is Trump going to be like, yeah, screw you, JP Morgan?
I want to go back to 2008 because literally I was working then as an investment banker, and literally, I know. Literally, what happened was that everything stopped.
Yeah.
No telephones rang. Nothing. It was like tumbleweed. And I've never been in an office and seen, like you'd almost hear sort of everything was crashing and stopping. Right. I think people have forgotten. They've forgotten 2008.
That's the problem.
They've completely forgotten. So I just looked it up that the debt underwriters, the debt capital markets divisions, all the guys issuing all this great debt, are getting bonuses up to 35%. Compared to the previous year, which was at 25%. So they're getting even more bonuses this year than last.
So there's no incentive.
Bonus for debt. That's great.
Right, but there's no incentive then to be fiscally and responsible or a fiduciary, because it's all about how much money can you make.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to go back to my original question then. Back in 2008, I know like one of the only banks that didn't have a problem was Northern Trust, right? Everybody else did. Wells Fargo did. Bank of America did, Chase did, and the list goes on and on and on. My question now is, if it happens next year, since Mr. Trump, kind of like screw you boys and girls, I know he loves Deutsche Bank because they always work with him. All these other banks did other things with him. Yep. Is he going to say to the American banks, too bad for you? Like Silicon Valley Bank, we know they got bailed out because all the billionaires had their money and they're like, I'm not going to be a billionaire anymore. And everyone's like, oh my God, we got to take care of you. But are we going to be then? There's no more too big to fail, and the other part to that is
you're going to queue up and go around with an IOU.
The other part of this is that now all these CEOs, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, are all writing $1 million checks to the Trump inauguration campaign. So Zuckerberg's done it, Netflix has done it. These are all like Democrats, right? So are the banks going to start doing it, because the banks are going to be like, ooh, if we crash, we have to let Donnie know that we love him. And then
he didn't even take the call from Jamie Dimon.
I know.
Did you hear that? He sent him to voicemail. That was a big snub.
Well, that's my point. If JP Morgan crashes, will JP Morgan be around? And then what happens to all the money that's at JP Morgan?
Organization. Yeah,
that's not going to be a good thing if JP Morgan crashes.
Well, did they not say the same thing about Lehman Brothers? But we all got over it.
No, you haven't gotten over Lehman Brothers still.
Yeah, that's maybe the argument, is that we haven't really gotten over, and all of these. If you look at the commercial, going back to the commercial real estate issue, Forbes published that recent article saying that 2025 is going to be the year of reckoning for all of these commercial debts that have to be that are hitting maturity and have to be refinanced. and probably won't be refinanced at certainly the rates that they were when they first were initiated. Right. So, maybe this comeuppance is on its way, but not just for these big banks, but also the smaller banks that don't have as much cushion as the big banks are required to have.
Well, I will tell you this, that the part of the other article I read was a lot of the bigger banks are going to swallow smaller banks now because, Trump, and I kind of agree to this to a point, as M&A happy. So we're going to see what happens there. The part that I have a problem with, the $6.75 trillion, I could care less about that. Like I said, we have that lying around the house. It's not a lot of money. Is that Elon Musk and his partner Vagivugi weigh in on this. And Rob and I were speaking before the show about Mr. Musk. And so who cares what he says? Just because you have 200 or 300 billion or 400, I don't care. Like, you're not running our government.
Well, this has been an ongoing situation in the American landscape of, if you have $1 billion, now everybody wants to hear what you think about everything.
Why?
Which, yeah, exactly. That's
why?
That's
seriously why? I don't care what you think. I don't really care what our politicians think, because they don't think. What I really want to be president is, I want the housewife from Iowa who has to balance her budget with her husband's salary, with the 4 kids, and has a balanced budget every month. That's what I want to hear from. I want her to run the government because we have a balanced budget.
You don't think that the idea of a government efficiency office is a good idea?
I mean,
they're going to look at the entire government.
Yeah, big deal. So did Gore. Nothing happened. Gore had that. Gore had a government efficiency office, and nothing happened. So no. And the problem is you can't have, and this is my opinion, and Mr. Musk, and you're my neighbor, and you can egg my house later. I don't care what Elon says. Elon doesn't live in reality. Okay? Elon doesn't go to the supermarket and buy milk. As far as I know, I'm sure he sends staff. Elon has no clue. So you can cut this out. I know Biden just passed a bill which saves like 700,000 jobs of the federal government, which is great. But what's Elon going to do? He's going to go in there and we're going to fire all these people. I'm glad. And now you have SoftBank saying they're going to put $100 billion in America.
That was big. That was a big announcement. Yeah.
Calm down. Let's see if they do it. I'm waiting for the TSM people that Trump had back in 20 whatever say they were going to build a plant here that never built a plant here. And that's 4 years from now. Right. So yeah. When I see it, I believe it. Now he's courting China. China wants to put money here. All for it. I'm all for investing it. He also said that if you don't buy American oil to the EU, we're going to put tariffs on all of you. Okay, very nice. So now you got a guy who has no base of reality that's going to come in, and well, you could speak about Musk. You know him better, your background better than we do. But you have this guy that's going to efficiency. What's efficient? It's great. We know there's a lot of problems and a lot of this. So great, you're going to pull the plug. You don't like Medicare. You don't like Social Security. Good. You have $400 billion. Are you going to pay for these people? And now you're going to do that. You're going to round up the immigrants. Great. Wonderful. I got it. So now what?
I think that's a very simplistic view, but I think Roald has some good input
on Musk. Oh, he has some good input on Musk.
We got to hear some of the Musk.
I have to say, and Steve and I, we've chatted about this, but jokes aside, I think America is a fantastic country. Is it the greatest? Who cares? This obsession with being number one is just, I don't know what that's about. I think it's a fantastic place. I lived there for quite a few years. I think it's got more than enough talented people. I think a lot of those talented people really don't want to get involved in all the crap in Washington. Maybe that's part of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. But what I find absolutely ludicrous is within that giant country of talent and opportunity and ability, there seems to be so many people that are obsessed with a guy from this part of the world who's gone there in a very opportunistic fashion. Look, good luck to him. He's done all right for himself. But you really need to drill down and figure out who this guy really is. As Stephen said, look, would I be as happy as he seems to be in his position with all that money? Sure. But I think you need to stop ascribing so many characteristics to this guy. You need to find out where he's actually from. I mean, I don't want to get all in legal with this guy, but the way he got in, how he started his company, the venture, the hostile takeover of Tesla and blah blah blah. I mean, he's a guy that just wanted to get stuff for himself, and that's fine. He's a very self-absorbed man. That's fine. He seems to have affirmation issues. He seems to be looking to Trump for that affirmation. Good luck to him. But that's a therapy issue. Putting the efficiency of an entire country like the U.S. in with a man like that, I think you really need to do a little bit more vetting. I don't want to slate the guy. No, I do, but I'm not going to slate him. I'm not going to slate him just for the sake of slating him. I think he's done well, and I respect that, and that's good for him. But I think you need to find someone else. The efficiency idea is very good. You should be more efficient. The debt levels are astronomical. There's a lot one can say about that. But I'm not the guy. But I don't think he's the guy either. I think you should look at someone else. That's really what I want to say. I think you've got plenty of people that could do it, and you just need to do a bit more work. I'm no financial guru, so I'm not going to speak about all these numbers, but I do think, the people decided they wanted the king back. Fine, okay, but Musk, I just really, you need to have professional people in those positions, people who have experience with who've maybe suffered a bit, who've endured something. And as Stephen said, he doesn't live in reality. I mean, that's just a fact. What does he know about what the ordinary people are about and what they want and what they need? So that's my 5 cents worth.
Well, I think he's charismatic for a lot of people because
so is Herman Goering.
For himself, particularly.
Yeah, because I think, and it's very clear now to everybody that social media won the election for Trump, and it wasn't the mainstream way of communicating, which would have
that wasn't the You're right.
Would have made the lady that Stephen was talking about in Utah or whatever it was with a family. She wouldn't have necessarily got the sort of messages that younger people were getting through social media, and this whole social media thing around Musk himself is almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because he tells them what they want to hear and they say, oh, thank you very much, we want to hear that. And so yeah, that's the reason why he's become so powerful, I think. And there's a whole generation of people who are saying, well, look, all you old fuddy-duddies, you haven't managed to do anything, let some of the younger people do it. And Musk has young, fresh ideas.
Vivek Ramaswamy in there too, in the Department of Government Efficiency, and I have a lot of faith in him too. The guy. He speaks well. He has built. He did build a business out of nothing, and okay, so what? He's in the billionaire class. Give him a chance. They're gonna actually look at this. One example that they used for government waste was the fact that multiple presidents have said that rural areas should get broadband, and billions of dollars have been spent with no progress. Right. That's one example of many that.
But I also think the rural areas should get indoor plumbing. I think that you guys should have indoor plumbing. I think once they do the indoor plumbing, then you worry about broadband. Yeah. I'm thinking that, and then maybe you guys get electricity after that. I'm just saying, I think you got to get into maybe the 18th, 19th century. We shouldn't flood the rural America with a lot of stuff. I don't think they can handle it.
Internet first.
Right. Let's get the internet and get broadband.
Well, you joke about it, but where there are the waiting list now, if you're an industry or you want to put up a business park in Holland, the waiting time now to get electricity connected to your brand new up and coming company, 10 years.
Joke.
Wow.
Because there's no infrastructure. So it's not just in the US, it's all these politicians, they're reading all these stories about flying cars and going to the moon and going to Mars and everything. Yeah. And they believe all that stuff and they're spouting it out to the rest of the world. But in the real world, some guy who's got a great idea, wants to build a little factory, wants to make his widget that's going to save the world, can't because there's no electricity. And it could be the same for you, Michael, as well. Great little cottage industries all through the rural areas in the US.
Mm-hmm.
They're all working on 1980s modems.
We've talked about this on previous shows, is that it's part of it is the hyper concentration of wealth and power. And John Coates from Harvard, yeah, exactly. John Coates from Harvard, he's a professor of law and economics at Harvard Law School. He was talking about not just the concentration of wealth and power in general, but also in the financial sector in particular, in private equity. And Stephen, you probably know a lot about that, hyper concentration in the private equity world.
All I can say is we just want to thank all of you drones out there. And
Right.
This New Year's we'll be burning $100 bills to light our cigars. So thank you so much. So
exactly. It's too much. It's just too much. And we've talked about it, about the monopolization of every industry, which is part of the problem. There's a lack of real American competition because everything's monopolized. It's the illusion of choice. You've got really only 4 or 5 businesses controlling 80 or 90% of 50 different industries across the world, from plastics to, of course, manufacturing and cars and all of these things. So
hey, there's a fan just wrote something, and I'm going to read what they wrote. I think it's a very interesting point. He goes, first of all, he says, great commentary, gents. I like the Jew, the guy from South Africa, and the other guy. So I'm not sure which one of you is that. No, I'm making that part up. He only said, I like the Jew. However, I believe that this marks the end of democracy. Billionaires read a critical factor: governments can be purchased. Interesting thought. He thinks this is the end of democracy. And to a point, he's right. If Elon Musk comes in with his billionaire buddies and start doing stuff, like, you have to remember who's coming in now to run the government with Trump is the PayPal mafia. If you look at all the appointments, it's all guys from the PayPal mafia. Okay. That's who's coming in now to run the US government, the PayPal mafia. So think of that. And then to your other point, there was an article in the FT this morning that said that this is the first time in history that people, a majority, and I think it was like 80, 90%, get their news now, not from newspaper, not from reading it, from TikTok and Instagram. So the decline of civilization as we know it. So there's all this going on. And now we're talking about a $6 trillion debt. All right, well, how are you going to fix that, mister? I'm going to cut everything. Going to cut services for the people. Like I said, there's a civil war brewing. When it comes, I have no idea. I don't like that. And I think you're going to piss off. And, there's 300 and some odd million people here. When 100 million of these people can't afford to do shit anymore or don't have a lifestyle, they're going to be like, I have nothing to lose.
That's what the promise of Trump and the incoming administration is to actually return power to return an economy to the people. Even though you get a lot of Silicon Valley backers, which also back the Democratic side too. So there was a lot of billionaire money in both sides of the equation. But there's a philosopher, so-called philosopher, Curtis Yarvin, Yarvin, also known as Mencius Moldbug, and he apparently is a huge influence on the Silicon Valley class, and really there are people like Peter Thiel even are referencing him. So I think it's worth people looking this up. I really only just learned about it myself.
Listen, stupid people are stupid people. The other thing that I think our fans are writing, this says, this is important. I believe Mr. Trump will inevitably lean and bend to what influence Musk places on him, which will supercharge monopolization, which we already know because they're already letting M&A happen. So the monopolization is already happening. So that I agree with.
Wouldn't you argue that it's already happened? I mean, it's been 30 or 40 years of this. And so,
well, Reagan did it with deregulation, but now Trump has made it very clear that he's open for go ahead and do M&A up the wazoo. There's an article in the FT, which I don't know why they're not sponsoring us, other than what I talked about with gas. But the crypto people now are making money left over right. Because Trump one is involved with a crypto exchange. So, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. But everything from Bitcoin to everything else is just popping. So, I don't know if he's making America great again. He's certainly making it America 1920s, where you can make money in America. And at some point, we have to actually probably put some laws into it. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Yes, the gentleman in the corner, the bathroom is to the right. So,
can I just say, and I'm just throwing little curveballs in here. I don't mean to. There's a couple of things I want to say. First of all, and this is not patronizing, this crap about making America great again. It is great. It never stopped being great. So I'm not saying that just for shits and giggles. It really is. And I say to people who've got a problem, if you've got a problem with America, I mean, I lived there for a few years, but not enough. Travel, really. Go and have a look. If you think things are bad, go and have a look, and you will appreciate what you have. That's the first thing. There's so little gratitude there. That's what really fascinates me.
That's a fair point.
There's so little gratitude. And now you're obsessed with a guy from this part of the world who dances around on stage, makes funny little cars, and takes over companies, and you think he's God. Gee, do some homework, for the love of God. That's all I would say. You can still vote for whoever the hell you want, obviously. Carry on, do it. But just get more decent. I think the key is people seem to, they get one little nugget of information and ignore everything else. Just get the full picture. Read, for the love of God. Don't get it from TikTok. If you want to find out about medical stuff, see a doctor. If you want to start finding out about business stuff, go and talk to a businessman, not a damn politician. That's what I'm saying. Do some research, find out who these people are, and then by all means vote for them again if you think that's great. But go back to Musk. Musk is not the problem. Trump is not the problem. These are, if I was them, I would do that too. I mean, if people want to vote for me or throw money at me, great. But you as a voter, and even in this part of the world, you have the damn power. You can control your country. But if you don't do the work, if you don't do the information, then you get that. That's what you get. You get these people who want to run shit and take over and do whatever. So find out who they are before you give them that kind of power. Otherwise, don't be surprised when they do the stupid stuff.
I think Rolf, what the difference this time round is we can see them all. They're not hiding in the shadows like they were before. They've all come out and they said, well, we're here. This is what we're going to do. Pull down your trousers, undo your belt. Here
I don't think, but Dave, sorry, Dave, I hear that, but I'm not sure based upon my time when I lived there. And here, it's not that dissimilar. People, there's one issue that they like about a politician and they stick with that. And they seem to buck everything else out. And they don't get the complete picture. Yes, the guy puts all his stuff out there, but they don't listen. They either don't fathom what the person's saying or they don't care, but they should care, but they don't care. And when the doodah hits the wall, they go, oh, I didn't realize. The tariff thing is extraordinary to me. I mean, I'm sorry to repeat a cliche, but I'm looking on the outside, looking at this tariff thing, and I'm going, even if you're a moron, you should know who pays for them. Do that.
Yeah. We had this discussion. We had this discussion on the show.
Not the people from Mexico and Canada and China. Yeah. So just start with that little nugget of incredible information and go from there. Just do some damn homework. So when a politician says stupid crap, you go, no, but they suck it in. That's what I'm saying. Find out more.
We had a discussion on the show when John was on about tariffs, and he said, oh, it's all right, they're fine. I said, well, you're right, the consumers can end up paying for it. No, that's not the case. That's not how it works. Well, I'm not the world's, most au fait as regards financing and stuff like that. But, if I have to pay extra for something and I need to sell it on to somebody else, then, they have to pay extra as well. It's as simple as that. And this whole tariff thing is a weapon of war. He throws it all out to everybody.
But of course he does, Dave. I don't blame him for saying that. I don't blame him for saying that. It's a good tool. But the people that are getting the message should know what they're hearing, but they don't know what they're hearing.
Isn't it couched? The tariffs are couched as a way to force companies to reinvest and bring factories back to the United States.
Theoretically,
it's the idea.
Why does he not just say that then? because
Well, he
that's
has
simple
said
enough.
he has said that. He has said
has
if John Deere moves to
has
Mexico,
actually
they won't
said
sell
that,
stuff here. But here, let me just do the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has warned the EU that it must, and I repeat, that it must commit to buying large-scale amounts of U.S. oil and gas or face tariffs. The EU is desperate to avoid a trade war with Mr. Trump and has spent the past months racing to draw potential ways to avoid tariffs by increasing purchases of U.S. goods such as liquefied gas, LNG, for those nice people, agricultural, and others. So no, he's using tariff, and listen, to his credit, he's using it as a weaponization. And the American people, to everyone's point, are like, yeah, 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 yeah. But well, we brought this on the show many times because they don't read, the American public or whoever listens to this, and they'd probably read, is that I charge China, if I bring something in from China for $1 and there's 100% tariff, now it's $2. So what I paid $1.50 for, I'm now paying $3 for. And they don't understand that you, the American consumer, pays for it, not, whatever. I mean, the government gets its cut, of course, but at the end of the day, the consumer pays it because I, as the guy at Walmart, let's say, who brings in whatever from China, children to do work in the back room, they cost more to bring in. You have to pay more for them to take them home. So
or you buy something if there's a domestic alternative. Wouldn't you buy something domestically?
The domestic children don't work like Asian children. They don't.
We are so much behind the curve because everybody was eating from the should we say the ultimate buffet of globalization. Take what you want when you want. That's right. All you can eat globalization. And then all of a sudden, the pandemic came and people thought, oh, Schweppes, I can't get this stuff. Why can't I get it? Oh, because we don't make it anymore.
Right.
And that was a real wake up call for a lot of people. And it is now sort of rippling through. But we're all behind the curve because China's still making all this stuff. All the companies and countries are all still making the product. So how long is it before America's making their own toys to put in the Happy Meals? How long is it going to take them to do that?
Never.
I mean, maybe we don't need toys and Happy Meals. I'm just saying.
Well, a lot of people think
maybe we don't need Happy
Michael.
Meals. All right. So.
Well, don't knock it, guys. Don't knock it.
But the point of this all is that I understand we want to fix the problem from the inside, and we want to fix this, and we want to do this. My biggest concern, I don't care. Let Musk do what he wants. We have a $6 trillion debt. Like I said, we just have that lying around in the back room. My biggest concern is that we're going to have another 2008 because of what's going on.
What makes it? What indicators do you see from your perspective that
I can read any newspaper in the world and see when I've got hedge funds and banks and whatever doing bomb deals on music catalogs, on Wingstop, and I'm just like, really? We didn't learn. And if you go and read and start looking about all these new financial products that pay, they're no different than the collateralized mortgage obligations as before. Like you can buy A paper, B paper, C paper. So we strip so we're just repackaging it, calling it bespoken now. And we're repackaging it, and the American public and institutions and people that are buying it,
they're buying into it.
They don't read the prospectus. I used to read prospectuses all the time. People thought I was crazy, but at least I knew what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
I got to read it. It's like, I don't care. Need to read it. They're not reading it. So when it happens again, and going back to JP Morgan, and Mr. Trump not taking Mr. JP's phone call there, Mr. Jamie Dimon, that's a problem because people have their money at Chase. So with the insurance, $250,000. Okay, so if you have $10 million there, you're out $9 million and change. So the question I have then really is, if we implode again, and we are going to, then what happens with this administration and the efficiency experts that are billionaires? So basically, what happens? So in my mind now, I'm like, okay, where does Trump, Musk, and all these guys that are going on a daily basis to him?
What do they think goes too big to fail?
I don't give a crap what they think. Where's their money? What banks are they at? I want to put my money in their banks. That's where I'm putting. If it's Deutsche Bank, BNP, I hate Citibank, Bank of America, they're all crap. So if Trump says I'm only banking with Deutsche Bank, guess what? I'm banking with Deutsche Bank. Because when it implodes, he will save where Musk's money is and all the other PayPal mafia. He will save where his money is and his kids, but they're not going to save other people. And the fact that you don't take JP Morgan's phone call, Jamie Dimon's call from JP Morgan, that's a slight. That is a warning on that's like you're shooting the flare. And that's what I'm saying. If you got to look for all the for the warning signs, but just you can read any financial newspaper or magazine and just see what they're doing now with different bonds and different this and different that. And when you're at an all-time high or higher than 2007, and then you've also, to your point of the real estate, and you start tacking things on, it's like, what's the next straw that's going to break the camel's back? And we're getting to that point. So, and and like I said, history does repeat itself. And if we're not going to be cognizant of it, then it's going to come sooner and quicker and faster. And then you're really going to have to see, and no disrespect to Mr. Trump or the people he's going to bring in, what kind of leaders you're really going to be. Because now you're going to have to manage that shit. And that's a different world now. You can't blame that on anybody because everyone's telling you it's here. You can't go, that's the past administration. Doesn't matter. You're the president now. You fix it. What are you going to do? There's the story of the Russian premier. He was getting ousted. He gave his counterpart 2 envelopes. He says, when the shit hits the fan, open the first envelope. He goes, okay. 5 years into it, he opens the first envelope, shit hit the fan. It goes, blame everything on me. He goes, good point. I have to blame everything on him. Good point. Good point. 5 years later, something else hit the fan. He opens a second envelope and it says, write 2 envelopes. So that's what Trump can't do that because he's coming in as the king, as the dictator, as whatever. So in 20 years,
I don't think he's coming in as a dictator. That's
whatever. I'm using that as a general term. I know. You're coming in as the savior, but if this happens, what are you going to do to save us? Like, are they thinking about it?
There are certainly people thinking that that the incoming presidents are independent of the momentum of an economy. And so if you look at George W. Bush, what could he have done to stop the collapse of the dot-com boom, right?
Yeah.
So he couldn't do anything about it. And then you go to war for 20 years. So
wars help. And if we have World War III, it'll turn around the economy. That's what turned around that's what turned around the 1929 depression. 1954, they got out of it because of the war. So great, we have a war. Cool, something to look forward to in 2025. Let's celebrate and buy defense stocks today. All right.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to celebrate. There you go. All right, there you have it.
But wasn't Trump very good on the campaign trail of saying that he could fix everything to the extent that people were so desperate to?
Hey, really quick, Roll's got to run. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you for all your.
All I want to say is, despite all the doom and gloom, Steve and I have said this often. I think the U.S. is a great country. I'm sure it's going to be fine. The man isn't a dictator. There's a lot of drama that politicians always put out there. All I want to say is, wherever you are, just read. That's it. You can read and just get all the facts. And then it's not about blaming someone. It's about blaming yourself. I get what I vote for. I get what I choose. And I still think, despite all the doom and gloom, just be grateful. It is great. It's fine. The country is great. It has a change in management every couple of years. It'll be fine. Just relax, have a beer, take it easy. The world's not ending. It's going to be okay. Exactly.
The only problem is that people can't read because nobody invested in education or in libraries.
Well, you know what, Dave? I have a bit more faith in people than that. But anyway, maybe I'm wrong.
I know you got to run. Thank you,
guys.
He'll be back. Everybody, if you want to watch his year-end review show, it'll be on the 26th of December. It'll come out in the morning and in the afternoon. You can watch it. And then he'll be back in 2025 doing live shows if you want to type your questions and ask him real questions. It's good to see you, my friend. For these guys, you have a happy and healthy. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Will.
Cheers, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, there you go. Yeah, very good. It's always fun to have him on. Go ahead, David. Sorry about that.
I was going to say, no, maybe it's a good moment to go to Lost and Found. Then I think
we've got some good ones to end the year.
Oh, we got some good ones to the end of the year, boys and girls.
So let's go and do Lost and Found.
Ever wonder how millions vanish into thin air, or how a single dollar can make all the difference? Join us on Lost and Found, where we dive into the wild world of financial mysteries. From misplaced fortunes to unexpected windfalls, we unravel the stories of people, companies, organizations, and even governments who've lost and found millions. Lost and Found, because every dollar has a story.
All right. Well, this will be fun.
Story.
Yeah. I have two. I have two in there. One's very, very quick. I'm going to just do that one really quick.
Go
and then
for
we
it.
can. The first one is Financial Times made Trump Person of the Year. I thought that was very interesting. They're like Person of the Year. The Financial
Time magazine
Times
as well. Time magazine as well.
They made him the Person of the Year, which I thought was very interesting. So there you go. I thought that was very, very, very okay.
Well, they wanted to give him.
Was that a lost dollar or a found dollar then for the Times? I wonder.
That is nothing. That was just something I saw. The next one I'm going to do is very interesting for all the Bond fans that are out there. The Bond they don't know if there's going to be another James Bond movie because Amazon with the Broccoli family is having a fight about how Bond goes. And for the Broccoli family, it's a $7 billion industry. And for Amazon, they don't care. So there may never be another James Bond movie. That was in the Wall Street Journal today. I read the article. And basically, the friends of the Broccoli characterized the thought of Amazon this way: the people at Amazon are fucking idiots. And I quote that from the Wall Street Journal. So there you go. So for you James Bond lovers, we may never see another Bond again. So Daniel Craig will be our last Bond unless Amazon can get their heads out of their asses. So there.
But then they have to. We had a sort of a Bond competition, did we not? With
we did, but that doesn't mean anything if Amazon doesn't want to.
They don't
produce it because they own the rights to it right now.
Yeah, they just want to do some spin-offs, probably make money out of that.
You know what?
So, well, for me, that's definitely.
Wait, are you going to show? Are you going to show? If you're going to now, wait, you're going to go last because you got probably some video.
Yeah, you got.
No. No films today. No.
Oh, thank God! All right, let Michael go, and then
I got a couple for you, and one is like these are two public service announcements, basically. So
that rural communities, the indoor plumbing. Yes, go ahead.
One about the Chinese government.
Okay.
So hackers funded by the Chinese have infiltrated U.S. telecommunications infrastructure so deeply that they can get the unencrypted communications of anyone they want, which includes listening to phone calls, nabbing text messages. And it's so bad that the penetration has been so extensive, they haven't been booted off the networks yet. Wow. So the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency said, don't use SMS for your for your two-factor authentication if you're a highly targeted individual, which I'm sure many highly targeted individuals are listening to our show.
This group is fine. Continue to text. We're good boys.
We're good. And then another one is a lot of teens are using Meta's virtual reality headsets. Yeah. And they're playing this game apparently called Gorilla Tag, where it's just I guess it's a tag game. Yeah. But they're also installing something called Big Mama VPN, which you'd be smart enough to know. Would you trust a VPN called Big Mama VPN? I don't think so.
Trust Little Mama VPN. So no,
neither one. But they've installed it, and what it does is it routes all your traffic. It lets cyber criminals use your VPN connection at home to share whatever data they want through your home connection. So what can go wrong there? It says Slashdot, says Wired.com.
What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong there?
Possibly go wrong if you're sharing stolen stuff. Yeah.
Don't share your internet connection with the internet. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Or at least don't use something called Big Mama. VPN,
not a secure method.
Yeah. Other than your normal.
I will tell you that the North Koreans, with their cyber attacks, I was in the Financial Times as well, has stolen $1.3 billion in cryptocurrencies.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I know that because I get 10%. I mean, I've heard that, and I don't know that for a fact. No,
they use your VPN. They're using your VPN.
Part of my deal is if you use my VPN, I get 10%. They're like, yeah, no problem. So they just back out. Wells Fargo dropped up on Monday. But yeah, so I thought that was very interesting that the North Korean hackers have gotten
that's a lot of money.
I got news for them because I've already broken their SMS to
now David's got the billion.
The other billion. Okay, very good.
Yeah. It used to be billions of zlotys, that you could made you feel very, very rich. But
What do you got for us, David?
Yeah, well, it's yeah. What can I say? It's we have to have him on.
I knew you had graphics, David. I knew you had
Uh-huh.
graphics.
There you go. See, there you go. So
A
it's
robot.
Mr. Musk's robot,
No.
and yeah,
For
yeah,
$40, you get a
can-
1/10 scale. Okay.
yeah. If you can buy one, which you can't because they sold out within 24 hours of being produced, and they were advertised, up to $10,000 by some people, but they go between $300 and $500 for this. Basically, sort of, an Elon Musk version of Action Man, I suppose, or Barbie. But
G.I. Joe.
it doesn't do anything. It's not a robot. It's just literally a
G.I. Joe doll.
literally a plastic.
This is
figure.
this is a modern toy.
Yeah.
This is
So
Elon Musk's G.I. Joe doll. I like it.
yeah. So
Right.
for me, that's definitely for him. But lots of
Oh
because
my God, are you kidding?
It comes with
Did he make this?
it comes with a tiny charging stand and a cyber hammer. Apparently,
Yeah,
look at
that's
that.
right. He's gonna beat people into submission.
Neither of which work, of course, because they're both
No.
plastic, and he just stands there. And
Well, so does Elon Musk, except when he's jumping up and down on stage with Donald Trump, which is what Roll and I were speaking about before the show. So that's funny.
oh yeah,
That is funny.
yeah.
All right.
So
Well, guys, this
Wow.
is
What
it.
a show.
2025.
Yeah.
It was a great show. It was good to have Roll come on.
That
Don't
was
forget,
good. That was
on the
fun.
26th of December, if you're still watching, he will be doing his year-end review, which I'm sure is going to be quite interesting. And I'll be on that show. Sorry. But this is the last Lost Dollar Club for 2020. We're in 2024. Sorry, 2024, 2025.
See you in 2025.
We're back on January 3rd, are we not?
That's right. We are. We are back on January 3rd. And we're just taking just 1 week. Just 1 week.
Michael's old. So we understand. So.
But in the meantime, on to OF, we've got lots of stuff coming out. We've got No Snobs and Knobs end of year review as well. We've got some social intercoursing, revisited some stuff, great car reviews. There's a whole load of stuff coming on the channel, so that people have got a lot to do over the holiday period.
Break. Yeah, very nice.
So,
and then
thank you to all the comments. It looks like we had loads of comments this week.
We did. We had a gentleman, and I wanted to try to get them all, but some of them we couldn't get to. He was talking about France. He said 1778, France was at the brink of economic collapse. He says America basically looks like 1798, which is when the French Revolution started right now.
Oh, boy.
All his comments were, I loved his comments. Said, thank you very much. And hopefully he'll be back when the show comes on. He'll give us more comments. But that was nice that I like when the fans, when we do live shows, give us comments. I feel bad for the people that watch the rebroadcast on Saturday because they're just like, where's he getting this from? I don't see it. And I'm like, you got to go a live show on Friday. And that's where you see it. So it's perfect.
So that would be good. And perhaps the people that have already watching and they have an opportunity to give us some questions and all their thoughts for something, so we can add them
We
to
don't
the
care about
show.
their thoughts. We're good.
Right from the get-go in 2025. A new you, maybe, Stephen. Who
new
knows?
What? Oh,
New you.
A new
me.
me.
You.
Yeah.
Going through a makeover.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, he could come out of the. It could be 2024, the old grump. 2025.
Same old grump, different year.
It's going to be the same old grump. It's just going to be 2025. Nothing's going to change.
Exactly.
When it gets warmer, I'm going to do scotch and cigars for the show like I used to, because that'll make a great show. And don't forget, tomorrow, for all you people watching live, we have the cigar show. That'll be live from Pakistan, London, and America. So if you guys want to catch the cigar show and learn about cigars, they'll do that show as well. If you're watching right now on Saturday morning, you can catch the cigar show, which comes on right after this live. And you can ask questions to our cigar sommelier, which he's going to talk about the Trinidad Tobago release that he was at in Doha. So that's going to be a good show. That's going to be a long show tomorrow. So sit down with a couple stogies and a glass of scotch. Sorry about that. And you'll be fine. Michael, Happy and healthy to you and the family. David, I'm going to see you next week, so not a big deal yet.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Christmas, fucking pagan holiday. Happy holidays to Jews. We own you. Don't ever
All
forget
of
it.
them.
And also, we own everything, all the banks. We have space lasers. We put Trump in power. Blame us for everything. But anyway, happy, healthy to all the fans. We'll see you in 2025. And thank you for watching for the year. And if you have any suggestions, let us know. I know Corey.com is coming on the 10th, so that'll be exciting.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. And then we're probably going to have Michael Collins back. We're going to have Guy Standing back. We're going to have all these people. Like Donald Trump, I hear, is coming on the show with Elon Musk. That'll be fun. We'll see. There you go.
We'll see.
Should have had Roll do his Donald Trump impersonation because he's an impersonator too.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, David, take us home.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Here, don't forget to subscribe and like.